To walk through Times Square screaming, "Who won the battle?" Like
Hold on
calling
though.
people
Hold
out of the
on.
crowds.
You
Yeah,
you 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 you
All right, Flacco, do your
one at a
thing.
time, right? The strongholds.
I
You're
know,
gonna have
I
to
know, I
explain
know, I
that.
know, I know.
You even
Yeah,
breeze. You even breeze past the Blaze Battle
Listen, he's
thing.
just
That
ever
and this,
flowing. That's what we need
this
here,
is a
though.
huge thing that like that was the first
yeah,
real honest commercialization of battle rap to the
yes,
world,
yes,
presentation of hip
yes.
hop battle rap to the world, those Blaze
Oh,
battles.
absolutely,
And then
absolutely.
after that came the fight clubs on MTV
Yep,
and
yep,
the Smack DVDs,
yep,
but first those Blaze battles came
yep.
Yo, that's
on
interesting because,
And
HBO.
yo, you got
On
to understand,
HBO.
I've talked to a
On
lot of,
HBO. And they had RZA and Capadonna, who were signed artists at the time on a major record label, participating with the guys like Breeze and like Pumpkinhead. I guess Idea would be another name that,
yep.
yo,
like
Idea is
people.
pretty cool. Like, I mean, maybe you don't think he's pretty. I don't know how much you listen to Idea, Flacco. From what I've seen of your Facebook posts, I'm going to assume not a lot. It's all right. For me, I listen to Idea. I like Ismail is like gets us to he gets to tell us what albums to review here and there. So he got us to do his first one, the first Idea and Abilities project. And yo, that guy read some shit, man. And he made songs
Hmm.
that were so abstract and out there that they could be taken to philosophy courses in university. And for real, you could build an entire course around that first album, Firstborn. Ismail posted it there. And like, that's how, like, yo, because we went through that shit. And I'm like, yo, there is some serious, like, you wrote a song about being a fish and shit that questions humanity and whatnot. I'm like, that's like a level of like songwriting that I can see how it's not appealing to the mass majority of people. But if you a thinker, that shit's gold when you want to go thinking mode.
Listen, man. Like he could wear the MC title also, cause he was definitely out there where he was at. But then I know he was always ready to go at a moment's notice, right? And it's unfortunate that he passed as soon and as early as he did, right? But he could wear the title for sure. But yeah, that was the Blaze battle was that, right? Blaze was a magazine. It was a spin-off of Vibe magazine. Vibe magazine is, if you don't know, is one of the biggest print magazines for music culture and just black culture in general, but definitely with a heavy slant towards the music industry, um, and then entertainment overall. So then they started Blaze magazine so they could focus on hip hop. They wanted something to contend with the Source magazine. The Source was definitely ripe for the picking at the time. That's back when they was just starting to get into that little Eminem beef was just pre brewing, and whatever troubles they were getting into with the publisher. So Blaze came and hit the scene hard with some really dope um, content, some really like great cover stories, and then they did the Blaze battle. And the first battle was, and then the person who won the battle gets the back cover of the magazine. And so that's like the first time, if you're an up and coming MC, you got a full page on a magazine. Like if you were doing it indie back then, you were paying about 1,500 to get a full page ad. Like I remember, like we were paying money to get an ad in some of
Did you
these
hear what he
spots, and
just
just for
said?
a quarter page, like we was paying a lot of money for that. It's not
Oh
like
my
internet
gosh.
ads or running ad campaigns through IG or something like that. It was bread. You were paying bread to get
Well,
your
to
stuff
be
out there.
fair, if you want to do social media marketing right, it isn't $30 ad campaigns. It's $1,500
Mm-mm.
ad campaigns, right?
Yes,
Like if you're doing it
yes.
correctly. So I love
Mm-hmm.
that you're saying that too because it does reinforce the idea that again, not a lot of this game was ever free for anybody, and it was the people who were
Mm-mm.
able to pull that off. Like for me, I read the Gucci Mane book, and like one of the more profound things to me is he's describing how early on in his career he runs into Killer Mike and T Pain or something like that, and they drop prices. It was like 6,500 he pays for these features, and he's like, "This is a great investment." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yo, everybody seems to be willing to put up money to move ahead in their career. For yo, listen, you're still doing it today. To me, success is longevity. If you're able to drop like what 2 3 projects, you make that whole cartoon album thing where you're drawing all this cool, colorful, amazing comic book stuff. Like you're doing some incredible things with your life, and you're still doing it. That is success. So the people who put up money back in the day and put that investment into themselves are the people who today are, sustainably able to do it. To me, that's the people that I have to learn from so that when I'm older, I'm able to still create art that matters and sounds fucking whatever. And like, like it has to be like that. So, to me, it's cool that you're saying that, we were willing to put up that $1,500. We were able to get in that magazine. We were able to be a part of history that you can't be a part of. Nah, 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 nah.
Yeah.
It's amazing that you can do that.
And by the way, like I want to like also give flowers. Like that's you guys that whole that Blaze thing for like my generation, my era, like I looked at it like this is where I want to get to. This is what I need to strive to. All everybody who is there, that was the goal. That was what I'm looking at as like, oh wow, there's a lane here. There's something that I can figure out and try to get to, and that's flowers for being a part of that, being a part of pushing that boundary. If you didn't strive for that, I wouldn't have seen that I could strive for that, right?
My man, I appreciate you for that, and I definitely appreciate the acknowledgement there, uh, and that's something that for the Blaze battle, right? That was the jump off. That was the catalyst. That was the set off. That is why battle culture got to where it is as fast as it did now, and we might not be where it was now if not for that. And so when I jumped into that second Blaze battle in '98, in November, it was a whole different group of contenders. I mean, there was some really, really dope MCs in that lineup. My first round was against Dice Raw from Philly. Proof was in that battle right there. The Lonnie B from the Super Friends. And so the battle with me and Pumpkinhead was the one though where they were like, "Oh, there's something here," because that was the first time they asked for a third round because they did the sound meter, and it might have. I wish I would have known who it went to after the second verse, but it was so close after me and PH's second round that the crowd was screaming one more round, and they saw that thirst in the eyes of the crowd, and they were like ching ching, and so even though that wasn't the winning round from the battle, that was the round that they put on these promotional cassettes that they started printing up. These little styrofoam cassettes, VHS tapes. And those VHS tapes were then heavily circulated at all of the seminars after that. And that's where a lot of people got to know me was from that VHS tape. That VHS tape was the catalyst that got them onto HBO for their HBO battle, which Idea and Shells were in the last round on.